So we're live.
Yep.
So we're live. Boy, that's quick. I need to turn the volume off on YouTube.
I already. I
There it
so,
is. Okay.
yeah, everything's off. This shouldn't be playing.
Is that gonna?
No, the live stream. So
Will the
live.
text show?
Yep. Yep.
Okay. I can. I need to make that bigger then to get it down below.
Let me do this. Hold on.
You popped out the text. That's cool.
Can you see it, or you need it bigger?
I can see it. No, it's fine.
Okay.
Well, Fish Ranch is here. Goodness sakes, how are you? Gracie, Leo, Cosman. We got the gang coming in. Long Family Shoal is here. Hi, guys. Nice to have you hereabouts the place. I'm trying to get everything organized here. 2 viewers and 5. That's interesting. I don't know how that happens. It says 2 viewers and there are 5 people. One.
There's a delay.
Pardon?
There's a delay.
Huh.
What's the counter? The view counters.
Must be. Who is this? One of
Wait a second.
We the people. Oh, okay. Josh Michael. Akatosh. The Digitech Man. James Lundberg. Wesley Wright. Hi, Gare. Hi, guys. Can't talk. Nice to see you all. Look, we're popping in here, aren't we? There's the Nightbot. Let's see now. We need to try to get some wrenches passed out. How we doing, Akatosh? Akatosh, where are you from?
Akatosh, where are you from?
What happened? Why did? Have you got the volume on?
No, that was my bad on the echo. Sorry.
Well, I knew that. Fish Ranch. Fish Ranch, I thought you were, you know what you need to do? You need to sign up on my channel. I pass out wrenches that's monitors like candy. But if you are not signed up on my channel, it goes away. So if you want to keep it, you need to subscribe. You don't need to join. You need to subscribe. Aquatic moose. Have I seen spider mites in an aquarium on the floating plants? Yes, I have. Have I ever? There are all kind of mites. Yeah, I've seen what you're talking about. There are certain fish that love them, like any fish that feeds from the top, for example. So, it's something you can have fun with. Lee 209 Aquatics, FatherFish. A question about your last video about changing water. How does it work with fish that are more messy eaters, like a puffer fish? Ooby-dooby-dooby-doo. Well, it's like anything else. You just don't want to overfeed. In other words, don't give him 10 times more food than he needs. Make sure that And when you're feeding him, try to feed him in bite-sized pieces so he's not making a mess. Generally speaking, if you have other fish in the tank, they'll pick up the pieces. Now I know there are some puffers you can't put in with anything else. But it's really a matter of trying to figure out how to control it so you don't get a big mess. If you got like a big faku, it would be difficult to have anything at all else in with him. So you might need to consider swirling a net in there. But I think, frankly, if you feed smaller bits that he can swallow whole, then it's not going to be a problem. Silver Creek, hey. Oh, you have a new YouTube channel, says Fish Ranch. What happened to your old one? I thought you were doing pretty well with it. FatherFish just made a view on them. What do you recommend? My betters are gobbling them up. Oh, right. Aquatic moose. They are tiny, aren't they? Yeah, betters are a good one for going after mites. Let's see. Well, let me go back a little bit here. Doobie-doo. The new website. Do check out father.fish. Fish Ranch, what happened? I knew you had 1,000 subscribers. That was kind of amazing. You did that really quickly, too. Fish Guy Ranch. One of we the people. I'll give you a wrench. How do I do that? Over here. Right there. Oops. Oh, I already did. Okay, you're good. It just, YouTube hadn't caught up with me. I'm too fast for YouTube. Anna Marie recently found you and have been binge watching you all the time. I so enjoy your wisdom. Thanks for all that you share. Well, thank you, Amy, very much. That's very kind of you, and I really appreciate it. And then I'm going to add you as a moderator. There we go. See, you're going to have a blue wrench come up pretty quick. Sketty Nona. Hi. D-ho. Good to see you, Sketty. Doobie-doo. I'm moving my camera around because it's sitting right in front. You know what? I can move the text. There. Now I can see it. I had the camera sitting right in front of the text. Kathleen Bronson. Looking forward to hearing about battery-powered air pumps. Kathleen came on Discord, I think, somewhere earlier today and said she wanted me to talk about battery-operated air pumps. There are a couple of different ways to do this. You can buy battery-operated air pumps. That's true. And that works just fine. Or you can buy what is it called? Not an alternator. It's a thing you hook up to your car in order to be able to plug 120 devices into it. What is that called? Anybody. Anyway, you can use a car battery and hook this little device up to it, an inverter. Thank you, Luke. You can use a car battery, which is going to last a whole lot longer. Hook up an inverter to it, and then you can plug your regular air pump into it, and it'll give you a better volume, and it'll last a whole lot longer. So for about the same money for an inverter as you would pay for a couple of battery-operated pumps. You can use your existing pumps hooked up to an alternator that's attached to a battery, car battery, and you'll be good to go, and it'll last you hours. Whereas the little battery-operated like C battery pumps are only going to last an hour or two. So that's just a better way to go. A PC battery backup will last days, one of We the People says. PC battery backup. Adding water and changing water are different things. That's right. Adding water and changing. Did somebody make a comment about that? Oh yeah, here it is. Crusader. Don't change your water video. What do you do with evaporation? Just add new water. Won't that increase organics? We have a video coming out Tuesday or Wednesday. It's called What's in Your Water. I think that's what it's called. I don't get to decide what my videos are called anymore. I have authorities who make those decisions. Experts, if you will. But I call it What's in Your Water. And it raises the issue. It's actually a conversation with Laura, who is our resident biologist. And it raises the issue of organics being created in the water by the residents of the water for their mutual benefit. That is to say, they are customizing their water. So be alert to that, and we'll be talking more about that. I don't want to give it away. Beyond that, I've already given it away. Listen, I need to do something. I want to show you my outdoor plants. I just got a huge order of plants in, and it's getting dark fast. So if I don't do this right away, it'll be too dark to see. I may need to take a flashlight anyway. All right, let's get the other camera going. I need to do that, don't I? Camera on phone, right there. All right, here we go. We're gonna go look at this. I may be off mic. I'll try to get it where you maybe can hear me. Okay, we're going outside, and I have these wonderful plants here. I need to bring them in because it's going to freeze tonight. But I've got this, look at this, absolutely stunning red Lagwegia. See if I can hold the flashlight and the camera and the plant. Isn't that gorgeous? Look at that. Beautiful plant. This is baby tears. Really, really pretty plants. Bacopa. Super, just gorgeous plants. So they're available right now. This week, you're gonna get five different species of plants. A total of get things organized here.
Just so you know, I switched you back.
Oh, okay. Thank you. You're going to get 5 different species of plants. You know what? Let's go back. I want to show a couple of things. Some fish tanks while I got this camera working. Camera on phone. Oh. Come on, come up. Let's see. I have, I've got red platies in here, and they have babies.
You're partially covering the camera with your finger.
They have babies, which are going to come up in a minute. There they are, right there in the corner. Is that cool or what? And I'm feeding them. I've got a very tiny food I'm putting in for them. I'm feeding them 3-4 times a day because I want to get the babies jumping up. They're only about 3 days old, 3 to 4 days old. Okay, that's them. And then the other thing I want to show you, these are some more plants I've got. This water has a lot of tannins, so it's kind of hard to see in it, but then in here I have, look at this. Look at these guys. They're just barely an inch long. I've got some really, really nice males in here. I only have about 20, but they're really quite nice. So I'm kind of tickled about that. I have a few more in the other tank. I don't see anybody moving around. Let's see. Let me get us back main scene here. All right. Did all that stuff. I don't need to do any more of that. How am I on the mic? I'm good. Let's see. BJJ Brawler deleted. Thank you, Kathleen. What did he say? Wow. Why did we?
He got hit because of Nightbot, and I'm not exactly sure why that was even done. It was just he had caps earlier. Not a big deal.
Okay. Can we bring him back?
He's just timed out for 300 seconds, but he's not gone.
Okay. BJJ Brawler, right? I think that may have been inadvertent. Well, oh, the Nightbot did it, I guess.
Can you talk about the plants while you were outside? We couldn't hear you very well.
Yeah, there. I got some really beautiful plants. There's a red Ledwigia that's one of the nicest I've ever seen. There's a Bacopa, a really nice Bacopa, and some baby tears, the tall baby tears, the one that grows on a stem, and a few other plants. They're really quite nice. The package deal will include, let's see now, it'll include a minimum of 3 each of 5 different plants. You're going to get a tremendous variety. 5 different species of plant, 3 each, and then I usually put 1 or 2 extras in, and then some other things that are extras on top of that. So you get a really, really nice package for the $49.99. It's a real good deal. I have 1, 2, 3, 4. I think I have 5 orders left for this week. So once they're gone, they're gone. But that package deal will be available. Now you can get the plants. You can get the leaves, which is both the leaf culture and leaves, as well as the dirt supplement, there's a package deal listed for $85. It's $100 deal. I think I'm right about that. I think it's $85. So that's a really a heck of a deal. And those are going to ship out this week. So jump on that real quick if you want to get some really nice stuff. Tix fam, loving the content. Keep up the momentum. We are trying as hard as we can to keep up the momentum. So far, we've had lightning strike twice in a row. So the third time will be the winner. If we can do it 3 times straight, it will really begin to advance the channel. I mean, we're doing well, doing so much better. But if we can hit it 3 times, they build on each other. I've noticed that the video from last week is getting more views than it did when we put it up, because the current one is driving it. The current one, I don't think I have ever had a video that has grown as fast or had as many views in day one as that one. There might have been one. I've had 1 or 2 that have kind of gone to 50,000, but I'm not sure they grew any quicker. So we'll see how it all works out. But so far, looking really good. No thanks to me, I might add. Thanks to some folks who have come in through our Discord, who are helping us out, who are advising, and making it possible for us to learn how to do this in a way that, in a way that works. And a shout out to KG Tropicals, because those guys really understand the algorithm. And I never really understood that. But boy, have I been getting an eyeful and an earful. So they are my new mentors, whether they know it or not. I'm just trying to follow their lead because they know what they're doing. And if you haven't checked them out, by all means do so. One other, while I'm promoting people, Lucas Brett's. If you haven't visited Lucas Brett's, you need to visit Lucas Brett. Somebody put the link up, please. Lucas is the person who's responsible for me being in YouTube. I was kicking around on the bottom for almost 6 months, trying to figure out how to get 2 or 3 subscribers. And in one day, he promoted me to his base, his subscriber base, and I went to 1,000, just literally overnight. And it's been just really steady growth since then. But I don't know. I think without what he did for us, I might have given this up. What's funny is I had a friend who was trying to get me into YouTube 10 years ago. And I didn't see it and wasn't interested. So he managed to get a few videos up. They didn't do a lot. I lost interest. If I had stuck with it, we'd be in a very different place. But then I might not be where we are with the content, because that's really been the key. That we're doing things. I need to get that glare. Oh, that's the fish tanks doing that. Oh, I'll tell you what'll help. I've got a light here. Excuse me. A second. Let me get this turned on. Get some light on my face. That should be better. Is that better? That's a little better. I got rid of the glare again. Well, how far over I can move. Alright, you can see the tank too, which is nice. Let's see. Huh. The bot is bumping people inappropriately. Why is it doing that? Do we keep Snakehead? Turn the bot off, or at least have it stop. Shutting off comments. Do I keep Snakeheads?
As far as the bot goes,
It's done it 4 times now.
yeah, it's because people are spamming caps or characters. I'll see what I can do.
But nothing has been inappropriate.
It's not about inappropriate. It looks for caps and exclamations.
I
and
see.
Repeating characters.
Caps and explanations and repeating characters. So,
Yeah.
a word to the wise guys. Do I keep?
I'll get in there and try to narrow it down here in a minute.
Do I keep snakehead fish? Snakeheads are illegal in Maryland, so I can't do it legally. There are snakeheads available in Maryland, and there are some snakeheads that are not at all invasive. They're little fish. They get like 5-6 inches, but they're all banned. So it doesn't matter. There's just a general when fish like that get banned, any kind of biological understanding goes out the window. It just becomes an emotional thing, and the people who are in control are doing it because somebody whined about it. Whatever. I like them. I like snakeheads. I've had a lot of them. Not in recent years, of course, but I've had a lot of them. It's a fish that grows very fast, and it's one of those fish that a lot of people used to buy and then wind up not being able to deal with because they got so big so fast. Let's see, Buddha just subscribed, Merely Irby, Stefan Arnold, Borislav Chilingarov subscribed, Rational Minds, the Vinboy 123, Shane Tattoo Man. That's nice. Nice to see all you guys. Great to have you with. Ronnie, you and LRB are putting out some of the most useful content so far. I'm glad his push helped you and glad you're sharing your knowledge and experience. Thank you, Ronnie. Yeah, LRB's the hippie fish keeper. I've never called him that to his face. I don't think he would mind it at all. And it's not in any way to belittle him. He's an absolute genius. He's brilliant. And he's doing things that very, very few other people are doing. As am I, for that matter. So, you know, I owe him a debt of gratitude I can never repay. Tanked aquatics. They made illegal in Connecticut in 91, 92. Pretty much up and down the East Coast, and have ever kept Florida flags. Oh yes, I don't have any right now. They're a Florida flagfish. They are now. My brain is going to go numb. I can tell. They are a, what is it called? A pupfish. They're a type of pupfish. They're also pretty aggressive. They're a great algae eater. All of the pupfish are vegetarian. They don't eat microfauna, for example. They eat they eat algae primarily. There's another pupfish I've had and spawned. There's some videos around of them that I caught in Florida that are also available here in Maryland, and I'm looking forward to finding some. This spring, I'm going to be doing a couple of things. I'm going to be setting up a brackish tank, and I hope to have sticklebacks in it, as well as some of these pupfish I'm talking about. I also will be setting up a saltwater tank, and I'll be doing both of those with completely natural product. In other words, I'm going to go down Chesapeake Bay and collect for the brackish. I'm going to go over to Assateague and collect for the saltwater tank. So they'll be set up as natural tanks with natural products, and I'm hoping to do that by the end of March, beginning of April. So excited about that. The topic tonight is algae. How to get rid of algae. This tank right here, this tank is 22 years old, and the only algae that has ever been in it is hair algae. It has not had hair algae in it for, at least 5 years, probably longer. And that's because I simply pulled it out. Just with hair algae, you just got to keep up with it, but if you keep pulling it out, eventually it'll just go away. The tank, however, does not allow algae to grow. And it's very important to understand why. If you really want to get rid of algae, you need to have a tank that is so heavily planted that the nitrate level is kept balanced. Excess nitrates is what causes algae. And that simply means that there are more nitrates than the plants that are in there are able to keep up with. And so it creates an excess. And where there is an excess, there will be algae. It's there to protect your tank from nitrate poisoning. What is nitrate poisoning? Everybody is scared to death of nitrate poisoning. Let me tell you something. We're going to have, we've exposed this fraud in the next video that's coming out. That'll be out Tuesday or Wednesday. Nitrate poisoning, I'll say this much, is impossible. Check out the video when it comes out. We have a biologist who explains it very carefully and very specifically as to why nitrate poisoning is impossible. And I mean that literally. It cannot happen in your aquarium. So be sure to follow up on that, and then you can jump all over me about it after the video's out. You can now, but I'm not going to answer it. Oh, who's this? Amy Marie. Amy Marie, that's the binge watch. Amy, did I give you a wrench? I want to make sure. I think I did. I'm pretty sure I did. Aquatic Moose, did I give you a wrench? No, but I do now. Who else? I want to make sure all the new people here. Turn Blue. Now, I know it seems counterintuitive to give everybody a wrench. There are several levels of moderator. This is essentially the entry level of moderator. But what it means is we're all keeping an eye on each other. More to the point, if anything stupid happens, there will be 15 people who will jump all over it before I can even see it. So it just sort of, we're self-monitoring here. And everybody's kind of on the same level. Yeah, if you avoid caps, our electronic monitor, automatic monitor, is picking up caps. So if you type in caps, it's going to probably...
I fixed that, so the caps thing shouldn't be an issue now.
Oh, it's fixed. Oh, wonderful. No disassembly required, it says.
Did you see the guy's question about his tank, Bernard, from a while back about the algae?
You got a timestamp on it?
It was way back.
I don't think I did. There's Tick's Fam, knowledge is power. Surprised your brain is still able to soak up information at your age. Oh, now. I do follow LRB and also Alex from Secret History. They're my holy grail. Absolutely, me too. Alex is another one of the absolute geniuses in the fish fam. We've been together lots of times over the years on each other's channels. We're both kind of racing to 50,000 right now, so we've been just caught up and busy with our own thing and haven't had a chance to really touch base. But we do chat once in a while. So yeah, Alex, the secret history living in your aquarium, another very, very worthwhile channel, and one that that you need to have on your list. Now let's see. I'm going back. Bernie Little, wary of possible parasites. Live in Las Vegas. Only local ponds are treated. Let me tell you something about parasites, Bernie. The more you have, the better off you are. The reality is that 50% of the microorganisms living out there are parasitic. 50%. They are kept in check by each other, primarily. The parasites are, what's the word? Parasitized. Parasites parasitize other parasites. And that's how it's kept under control. In a natural environment, it is rare for a parasite to actually get a meal. So they're there, but there are never very many of them. And if there are, it's because something is very much out of whack. If you bring in some natural material from a healthy pond, you will be bringing in thousands of living animals, different species. Thousands of species, not just thousands of animals. Tens of thousands of animals if you include bacteria and archaea and fungus. There are 1,000 species of bacteria alone, 500 species of fungus in one little handful of leaves from a pond, as well as hundreds and hundreds of microbes, I should say, of little microbic animals, paramecium and the like, and then 100 or more macrofauna, which is things like Daphnia, scuds, those sorts of things. So the more you have, the healthier your tank is going to be. I have found in this tank, I've been putting wild material in it for years. About a month ago, I found one parasite on one catfish. I caught him, took him out, removed it with a pair of tweezers, treated the wound with a little bit of of antibiotic salve, put them back, and I've never seen another one. It is rare to see a parasite, and when you do, it's typically one that's pretty easily controlled. So don't be afraid of parasites. The only time you really get a parasite infestation is when you are trying to keep your tank clean. That's the best way to have trouble, because you can't do it. It's impossible. And so what happens is the worst critters get in there first, and they'll tear everything up. Ick is another one. In a well-balanced natural tank, you never see ick. It just doesn't happen because the parasites are stopped cold. There may be one that gets to the top that'll actually get a meal and drop off and make babies. And then everybody's looking to eat the babies. I mean, they just get wiped out. Parasites eat parasites. That's their primary food. So do not be afraid of parasites. Some of them make it possible for other fish and invertebrates to survive. I have a video on parasites. I need to haul it out and put it up. It's really quite excellent and quite interesting. I think it's one of the best videos I ever made.
I just reposted Bernard's question.
Oh, there! I've been wary of positive. That's not the parasites one.
It's right there.
Little pond water and mud with a live fish. I think I'm up to it.
FatherFish, not trying to spam the question.
It's at the bottom?
Yep, it's towards the bottom. Yep.
All right, let me go down.
Like 5 or 6 from the bottom.
Okay, I see it. Been dealing with green water, 2 weeks of pea soup. Consensus seems to be UV green machine. Kills everything and doesn't seem to be natural way. Good. Glad you brought this up, Bernard. God, sorry I missed it. Green water. Green water occurs the same way algae occurs, the same way plants occur, the same way anything that is a green growing critter occurs. They occur because there are nutrients in the water. Now, here's the thing. If you have high order plants, rooted plants, bunch plants, stem plants, they're going to capture available resources before single cell plants are able to. They're more effective at it. They're built for it. If you have more nitrates, more nutrients that plants are looking for, then your available crop of stem plants and rooted plants and tuber plants, floating plants, there's so many different kinds, can handle, then the single cell algae are going to find a meal. And if there are lots of nutrients available, primarily in the form of nitrates, but not exclusively so, nitrates, I should say, they'll be able to get a meal. So, what does that mean? That means a couple of things. Number one, it means that if you control the food that you're putting in your tank, because that is the primary source of excess nutrients. There's a direct correlation between algae, green water, and some of the mosses like the blackbeard algae, and excess feeding. too much nutrient. If you control that, all of these algae are going to burn up available resources and disappear. They won't be there anymore. It's the simplest thing in the world to control. Just stop being so generous and thinking that your fish are starving to death, and stop feeding them. I used to make videos all the time about stop feeding your fish, which of course is ridiculous. But what I was getting at is that too many people overfeed their fish, substantially overfeed them, to the point where they have problems with algae, with water getting foul, with bacteria, with green water, with all the stuff you don't want. It's like MTS snails, the little tiny cone snails, Malaysian trumpet snails. If you have thousands of Malaysian trumpet snails, get down on your hands and knees and worship them, because they are preventing your tank from turning into a catastrophe based on you putting far more food in the tank than is required. That's why you get Malaysian trumpet snails. That's why you get algae. It's why you get green water. It's why you get old man's beard, the black algae. It's why you get polluted water. It's why you get illness, sickness. It's why you get disease. Virtually everything that goes wrong with the tank can be brought right back to the person who's holding the can of food in their hand. They're causing the problem. Don't feed your fish. If you're having trouble, stop feeding your fish until it clears up completely, and then feed them 1% of what you are now feeding. If you're feeding a big pinch, feed a flake. If you're feeding a handful, feed the tiniest pinch. Fish survive on an extremely low nutrition level, mainly because they find nutrition all over the tank. They eat little bits of algae, they eat microfauna, they bite off pieces of plant sometimes. I mean, they'll find food when it looks like there isn't any there at all. A can of food is your enemy. It is what is responsible for more fish death than anything else that goes on. I have some, and I use it. I just showed you these baby platies, and I told you I'm feeding them 3 times a day. I may feed them 5 times, but what I feed them is such a tiny amount that it's enough for them to fill their bellies, and that's it. There's no excess food in there. And so I can feed them over and over again. You know, the reality is a fish, small fish, processes a meal in 2 hours. That means that in 2 hours it poops out whatever it's eaten. It has actually managed to take about 10% of the nutritional value of that food. So there's still 90% of the food value. Other fish will eat it. They'll re-eat it themselves. As will macrofauna eat it. As will microfauna eat it. So it's feeding a huge chain of living organisms whenever you put that food in there. But if you're just dumping it in by the handful, you overwhelm the process, and it can't handle it. So that's why. Let's see. How do they not know the general parameters? Big box stores. I don't know what that's about. Aquatic moose. All right, I'm gonna have to go back to the bottom, I guess. Um, there's a lot more conversation in here that I have lost track of. Yeah, Iliuta is saying to Bernard, get some more plants, floating plants, hornwort, fast growing stuff. That's the answer. Absolutely is. Let's see, we have, is it Locatia has given us a $10 super chat. Do you have experience with growing out discus? Currently growing out 6 in a 110, feeding them 4 to 5 times a day, 50% water changes daily, 86. How would you do it? Well, I would have a deep substrate, number one, with lots of plants in it. I would not feed 5 times a day. I would feed probably twice a day. And I would feed just enough for them to eat and finish twice a day. I would not do daily water changes. I would do water changes probably once every month, if that. We've been doing a series of videos on water and water changes, and we've got one more in the series, a 3-part series. The third one will be coming up this Tuesday or Wednesday, and we're going to get into this whole issue of what's in the water, because there are a lot of things in that water that need to be kept. If you are polluting your tank with excess food, one way to get rid of it is to do water changes. That is the most draconian way to get rid of it, because you're throwing out the baby with the bathwater. What you need to stop doing is polluting the tank to begin with. And people with discus tend to do that because they tend to think discus need to eat all the time. They don't. They need to eat once every 3 or 4 days. The less food you give to an adult fish, the longer it will live. The more food you give to it, the shorter will be its lifespan. And that's true whether it's fish or mice or human beings. It builds up fat cells. What happened here? I lost the chat. I lost the chat on YouTube.
I can bring it back up for you. You should still have it on your software there.
I'm looking, but I don't see it. Yeah, it's on. I got it over here. I wanted to do something.
I can. Give me a second.
Okay. Let's see. Let me move down. One more thing I want to say about discus. The Steineckeri, I never get the name right. Discus, the German discus that Discus Hans was handling for years and years. He has retired from that strain of fish. The Steinecker family has gone out of business. They are retiring. Super Cichlids in Delaware, who are old friends of the Steineckers, is taking over that strain of fish. So we're going to have them located here in the U.S. And I've already talked with them about being able to sell their product at their price. So we're not going to be undercutting them, not going to be overselling them. We will be able to sell the Steinecker discus at the regular retail price. And they will be shippable. They'll be shipping directly from the farm, the breeding operation. So that's going to be online within 30 days. And I will be promoting that line of Discus. They're remarkable for a number of ways. One is that they are raised in hard alkaline water. And so they're pretty easy to keep. I'm going to be maintaining a tank of them here in a deep substrate, hard alkaline water, heavily planted. It'll be in our FatherFish natural tank where I will not do water changes. So we'll have a first-hand experience in that. Unfortunately, I can't put them in my 30-gallon long because it's just not a tall enough tank. But I have 29s. These tanks over here. Those are 29-gallon tanks. I'll be able to keep a pair in one of those tanks, and that's my game plan. Yeah, Tanked Aquatics is saying he loves the wild. They are wonderful. Let's see, we got this too big now. I got it blocked. Let's see. Carpal Jagger is here. Hello, hello. Good to see you, Josh. A Tanked Aquatics is saying, I love the wild variety, but don't have room. You can do a pair of Discus in a 29-gallon tank. Full grown. That's standard procedure for Discus breeders. They keep their breeders, their breeder pairs, many of them, in 29-gallon tanks. So it's perfectly appropriate. It won't be a problem. Horizon Broadband is saying if you think you have enough plants, you need 4 times more. The Dutch system calls for 75% of the volume of the tank with plants. Let's see. Locatia has donated $10. We appreciate that. Who else has signed up? DJF Flip 3-in-1. Land John, I and John Boy. Lofty Skies. And Buddha, Stephen Arnold, and Borislav. I think I covered everybody else. Nice to have you all with us. And thank you so much, Locatia, for your $10 super chat. Very much appreciated.
Locatia also did sign up as a member, so they're Chinook now.
Oh, great. Can they hear you, by the way?
Probably mildly.
Can you hear Luke? Luke is saying that Loco signed up as a Snook. There he is, right there. Very nice. Thank you all. Lumpy Dog. Hello, Lumpy Dog. Says, I have 2 Dutch-style tanks, both 10-gallon shrimp and nano tetras. Perfect. Really nice. 56 from New Zealand. Nice to have you with us, Vidkey. Silver Creek says, yes, we can hear Luke. Lightly, Josh says. And Luke says, I'm sorry for your ears. We all are. We all are. Schemer. What would be a good toothy fish to buy for someone with a special interest in predatory and deep sea creatures? Something that would live in a 60 long. 60 gallon or 60 liter. A toothy fish. The South American barracuda is a good one. They will get big. They'll get 18 inches. You're not likely to ever get one even close to that. They would have to live a lot of years for one thing. And by then you you would wind up with a 100-gallon tank. But they grow relatively slowly. They don't jump up wild and fast. And they are very toothy looking. So even when they're little, like 3 to 4 inches, they're brought in pretty commonly. Not a hard fish to find. What is this? Somebody from Oregon. Hello? Yes, FatherFish here.
Yes. I have a quick question. I just see your Bluetooth channel. And you say no water change, but how much gravel or sand you put it in the tank?
Oh, you're gonna have to get over on Discord and check that out. It's a pretty involved. I can't give you a 10-second answer, but if you will jump on Discord and ask the question, you'll get a lot of help because it involves doing a number of things. You can find the Discord link on my YouTube channel in the description of anything, or just click on the icon that's up on the bar at the top, and it'll take you right there. What's your name?
Ho.
Ho? Okay, we'll look for you there, Ho.
So, quick question. Yeah, can you tell me over the phone right now how high the gravel you put in the tank?
I never use gravel. That's why I'm saying you need to look into this more deeply. If you'll get on the Discord channel, we'll be able to help you with it. I'm on a live stream right now. If you want to get on my channel and click on it, you'll be able to jump right in, and I'm sure there's some folks there who will help you right now.
Okay.
Okay. See you in a bit.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Yeah,
Ho.
bye-bye.
Ho in Oregon. Well, let's see. Schemer, the toothy fish. What's Tanked Aquatics responding to? Oh, Slimo Guandus is saying, I think it's ridiculous that so many fish are killed by incompetent fish keepers, especially fish that live as long as goldfish. You know, I don't blame fish keepers for that. I really don't. I blame the people selling the fish, because they're not interested in the health of the fish. By and large, they're interested in selling you products to cure sick fish. So their primary interest is in ensuring that you're keeping them in such a way that they're going to get sick, so that you will spend more money. Now that's the sad, cruel reality. And the terrible, terrible part of it is that if we say this to a politician, he's going to try as hard as he can to shut down the whole industry for the sake of protecting the fish, which is, of course, arrogance times a million. It's not the solution. The solution is for you and me and everybody who knows better to teach continuously, consistently, persistently the value and the importance of natural fish keeping. No chemical fish keeping. No, none, nada. Now I know there are fish keepers on the fish tube, people who have very successful aquariums or very successful fish keepers who use chemicals and use fertilizers all the time. They do take losses. They may not be extreme losses, but they do take losses because their tanks are not natural tanks. They are utterly dependent on their own ability to maintain the quality environment that they have learned to create. But it is, how can I say this? It's like dancing on the head of a pin. You got to be very careful, very vigilant all the time, because it's really easy for something to go wrong, and then you're in deep, deep trouble. So, just a word to the wise. If you are not a genius, and I certainly am not, then you need to learn the easiest, most effective, simplest, and the easiest, simplest, most effective way to keep fish. There isn't another ad there.
I'm posting a question here that Ahmad asked.
At the bottom? You're taking, yeah. Let's see, Ahmad. How many fish do you think could fit in a 30 long with tons of plants and deep substrate? I have a betta and 3 tetras. It's a 30 long with a lot of plants, a betta and 3 tetras. Easily
I think it's 30 liter.
30 liter. Oh yeah, 30 liter. What's that about? That's less than 10 gallons, isn't it? It's about 8 or 9 gallons. A 10-gallon tank, we'll call it. A 10-gallon tank. You could easily have 25 fish, that size, with that level of planting in a 10-gallon tank. That would not be too many. I can keep 25 fish, like guppies, 25 to 50 fish in a 5-gallon tank, and it not be overcrowded, because it will be solid chock-a-block with plants. The more plants you can have, the more fish you can have. There's a balance that exists between them. You cannot have fish healthy and effectively without plants. That's why you get algae. It's impossible for any animal of any type to live on planet Earth without plants in their environment. It's impossible. Can't be done. Even the moose in Canada have mosses, and they're substantial enough to keep them alive. That's what they eat, mosses. So it's not like they're going around eating rabbits. They're eating vegetation.
TK Tropical says, can't have plants with cichlids, they eat or destroy them. That one comes up a lot.
Yeah. It depends on the plant, TK. You can do it. I've got discus all the time. Discus. I have cichlids all the time with plants. And I really rarely have a problem. There are a few notorious plant eaters. The worst one is probably the silver dollar. Silver dollars are terrible. Another one is pacu, neither of which are cichlids, by the way. If you have enough plants in a cichlid tank, African cichlids, for example. African cichlids are primarily a vegetarian. If you have plants in there and feed them spinach, they'll prefer the spinach to the plants. Virtually all of the South American cichlids, angelfish, discus, chocolate cichlids, uaru, rams, apistogrammas, none of them are plant eaters. Not one. with a possible exception of the Waru. But I've kept Waru in planted tanks, and I've never had a problem with it. I usually give them an alternative solution that's a little easier to get. Plus, there are certain plants that are just too delicious. But I'll tell you a secret. If you want to put plants in a tank and you don't want them eaten up, and you got fish, now excluding silver dollars. I don't vouch for silver dollars. Aponogetans, the bulb plant. The bulb plant contains a taste factor that fish absolutely detest. They will not eat it. I have never had an aponogeton chewed up by a fish. So there's an interesting little tidbit. Let's see. Christopher, listening to Diana Walstead on the use of UV sterilization based on discus and rainbow fish. Now, Diana Walstead, she did a brilliant book, an important book, critically important, 25 years ago, on putting soil in a fish tank. And that's as far as she got. She and Bill Barr have posed themselves as the alternative to FatherFish. Now, they don't say it that way because they've been around a lot longer than FatherFish, and they've got, frankly, a much bigger following. But I'm here to tell you, they have not evolved, they have not progressed in their understanding of fish keeping, and I'll just say that much about the pair of them. They have not. They're locked into a system that is dead end. Corporal Jagger had to move the severum. He kept pulling up all the swords I planted, trying to tear them up. He got banished to a bear tank with rocks and floaters. 2 severums would solve the problem, because they'd be at each other. But a lot of it is just, it's the behavior of the single fish. It's very often not really a species issue. It's just a given fish. And fish will become destructive like that when they don't have anything else to interest them. You know, 2 severums are going to be more interested in each other than any plants in the tank. So that is a way to deal with those kinds of issues. It's a distraction, but it's a very normal and natural one. I can appreciate not wanting to have 2 giant, although they're such a gorgeous fish. Severum are just spectacular. The big Central American cichlids, the large Central American cichlids, not the small ones, not the medium-sized ones, not the Juraparis, for example, not the earth eaters, not the little ones, not the keyholes. Well, that's South American, but the big stuff, the big cichlids. All bets are off with the big cichlids. And if you've kept them, you know what I mean. They get 1 foot to 1.5 feet long. They get really big. I've kept them. I've kept lots of them. I've kept some of them in planted tanks with a lot of other fish in very large tanks. And that's worked out pretty well. Things like Sagittarius, which is a very large plant, broadleaf, very heavy, dense plant that grows deep into the soil. I've never had those torn up by fish. I've never kept silver dollars with them either. Got better sense than that.
Not sure if you just seen the donation alert come through, but there was a $4.99 donation.
I see it. Anna Williams. Thank you, Anna, for $4.99 pound, which is about $4.99. I think the the pound of dollar is about 1 to 1. Thank you, Anna, very, very much. It's very kind of you. I used to know how to post those things. I don't know how to do it anymore.
They automatically pop up on the screen. You just got to pay attention to your notifications.
I did see that, yeah.
Underneath your camera.
Oh, there it is. Right, sure enough.
Yep.
Got it.
All the subscribers and whatnot show from that list.
Right. Let's see. Carmel Jagger kept African cichlids in a planet tank. Yeah, go ahead, Luke.
No, you're fine. I was just going to say, Ahmad had asked, just to make sure, did you say Corridoras at 30 liters will be fine?
Corridoras, yeah. Corridoras are an air breather, so they're really not limited to the amount of dissolved oxygen in the water. Little curious and interesting fact. What I would do, however, in a 10-gallon tank, I would rather have maybe a trio of standard size cories, or I would get 6 or 8 or 10 pygmy cories. The pygmy cories, the Habrosis, for example, would really they do much better in a small tank. I've got some in my 30 long here. I've got about a dozen in there. That's a nice little tiny fish to have in a very small tank, and that's really what you want to try to do. In a little tank like a 5 or a 10-gallon, look for tiny fish that don't get an inch long or that barely get an inch long. There are a lot of them, and there's some of them very, very pretty fish. Batis are one that I absolutely adore. Now, you can't do more than one male in a Batis tank because they fight. But one male and a couple of females, you will have babies all the time. They'll be wonderful. Let's see. Silver Creek is saying hornwort, elodia, guppygrass, anything that grows fast sucks up nitrates. Absolutely, absolutely. Duckweed is a fast-growing starter plant. Yep. Of course, getting rid of it is another issue. I should bring out my wet vac and show you how I get rid of duckweed. I vacuum it out of the tank is how I do it.
Melted Butter says, do you still recommend aerating the water with stones?
Water with stones. I'm doing it right now. I've got an air stone. I don't know if I can show you. I think I can. I have an air stone going in my 30. I was looking at it yesterday and noticed that the water was really very still. I don't have enough fish in there to move it around much. I mean, I've got stuff like this little betta. That's one of the baby bettas. Like these pencil fish. They're not moving the water around much, so I put an air stone in one end, and you can, I don't know if you can tell, in the other end, I have a little tiny pump, a water pump, real little tiny one. And it, in one day, has moved the water. You can tell it's not much movement. I mean, the leaves are not moving, but the water is moving slowly and gradually. So I'm getting a little more circulation. And I think it is important to have some kind of circulation. Look at this. Look at this. These little bettas are so... I put 4 of them in here, and they're doing really, really well. I'm looking to get some more little fish for this tank. I need to do some other stuff. There is a breeder in about an hour's drive from me that I need to go visit, who does a lot of really exceptional stuff. So looking forward to meeting him, and when I do, we'll do a little video of his fish room. Ryan Oaks, thank you, Ryan. What else we got here? Plant bundle. I mentioned the plant bundle earlier. I have 5 species of excellent bunch plants. just very high quality bunch plants. I have a farm that I work with that raises some of the very best plants anywhere in the country. And I get plants from them on a regular basis that are very, very high quality plants. These are plants that you don't normally find in a typical pet shop. You find them only at the better quality pet shops. My special package deal this week is three count each of 5 species of plants. Thank you, Ahmed.
Yeah, the plant bundle is $49.99 plus shipping.
Right. Yeah. I have a new package deal. You get a bundle of plants and you get extras with that. You get extra in the bundle and you get extra rooted plant. At least one rooted plant and a bulb if I've got them. I may be out at the moment. But you get extra plants with that 15. Plus, you get a leaf culture. You get leaves, a premium mix of leaves, and the dirt supplement for $85 plus 15. I'm pretty sure I can pack it in a $15 shipping box. I checked it out carefully, and I think I can do that, which will save another $10 on shipping. So for $100, you get it all. And that's enough to set up a 10-gallon tank. Probably a 20, actually. Although you probably ought to get a little more plants. But if you tell me the size tank, I can do a little more.
Yeah, I don't think people understand. So I didn't understand even the amount of plants that you get compared to what, I mean, that would be $300 probably worth of plants, or at least $200 worth of plants if you try to buy them from your local store. It's enough to fill up a pretty good size, aquarium. Or
Yeah. My word. Luke, did you look at the viewers?
I did.
I just noticed it.
Yeah, you were up to about 150, as I think.
Is that right? We're at 136 right now. Wow. That's pretty impressive. We've been here almost an hour and a half. We'll go for another half hour till 8 o'clock. And I refuse. I need to. This is going to be interesting. I'm seeing the word eco-complete.
Did you see Ahmed's question there? He did.
Oh, let me look. Just another question I had was that I wanted a trio of cories. Like you said, plus shrimp, but my tank is young a week. Do I need to wait? Don't do them all at once. You can put 3 little cories in, if you can get some little ones, or a couple of shrimp. The rule of thumb is in a new tank to introduce fish, small fish, 2 or 3 at a time, a week apart. Put them in, put a few in, wait a week. If everything is good, you can do 2 or 3 more. That gives the tank a chance to balance. And that's really the issue. Anytime you put a new organism in a tank, it changes the relationship of everything in the tank. So you need to do it gently and kind of slowly and let things balance out, and it'll work just fine. It's not a matter of age so much as it's a matter of not overwhelming the system. Let's see. Pack of plants. What size aquarium is that right for? I have a 90-gallon CO2 injected I would like to replant. Probably 4 bunches would do a 90-gallon. And if you'll list it, I can include some larger plants in that. I've got larger swords. I've got large Aponogetons. I have some very nice large Sagittarius that are much bigger plants for a big tank like that. So just if you'll order by the bunch and then describe your tank in your comment and the kind of things you're looking for, I will customize the package for you at the rate, whatever rate you spend. If you buy 4 bunches, then I'll customize so you'll be sure to get $200 worth of plants. You'll get $300 worth, to be sure.
So there's a couple of questions here. One of them is, Koida, I know I'm butchering that, I'm sorry.
Yeah, see it.
Koya is asking about the Tank of Plants pack.
I got that. I just did that one. Right.
All right, and then did you get the one below it there? And I refuse.
Yours, refuse?
Yep.
Let's see, 1.5 inch fluval stratum, 1/2 inch fluoride clay, 2 inches eco complete, 1 inch of natural sand. How bad is my condition? I think you're in really good shape, refuse. Let's see. I just want to go over this again, but yeah, I see it. Very bottom, 1.5 inch of fluval stratum. Next 1/2 inch fluoride clay. Next 2 inch eco complete. Then 1 inch of natural sand on top of it. What I would do is add another inch of sand. If you will do that, you won't get any intrusion from those soils up through the sand. It's the soils intrude into the sand bed about 1 inch. So if you put 1 more inch on top of that, you'll be able to keep all of that down in the substrate. Now, you've got enough variety in there to be able to build a pretty rich soil base. So I think you're in really good shape. The clay is an excellent product to introduce because it's loaded with minerals. I mean, that's what it is. It's not just mineral rich, it is nothing but minerals. So it's really ideal in an aquarium. The trick is for it to be diluted enough that so it's not packed tight so that plants can get their roots in it. One of the problems with clay is it is so dense that plants cannot get their roots into it. So if you break it up, dilute it, emulsify it, mix it in with other things, then that makes it much more accessible. But I think if you will add 1 more inch of sand, you'll be in excellent shape. Not a problem at all. It sounds really good. Not what I would do, but it sounds just fine. Let's see what else. Mandy Crago pressed the like button. All right, Mandy. Let's go with the like button. Haven't said a word about it. A couple of things I want to mention. We have a Discord channel. If you have not checked it out, please do so. It's an opportunity for you to meet, greet, and chat with other fish keepers about whatever you're interested in. Get resources. There are lots of resources there. You can post pictures of your tank, little short video clips. It's really a wonderful resource. We're struggling right now to try to get it set up in a way to make it easily accessible and make it possible for people to really be able to maximize their use of it. So please be gentle with our Discord master as she struggles to try to make this thing work well. But do come over, do participate, do enjoy. It's certainly worth your time and effort. Let's see. Rehu says, Scaria, my FatherFish tank is 16 months old. Fish are doing good, lots of plants. Many easy plants like wisteria die off. Vallisneria takes ages to grow. Lots of leaf litter from day one. Glad you brought that up. That's a really, really important consideration. these tanks that we're setting up are a process. They're what we could call process tanks, which means they are, I don't want to use the word evolving in the wrong way, but they are processing. They are changing. They become more stable. They become richer. They become denser with different kinds of minerals and different kinds of organics, different materials that higher order animals require in order to be able to thrive. So whereas there's some things you can't put in a brand new tank, a year down the road they do extremely well because the tank has evolved, it's changed, it's progressed, it's developed. So consider that because that's precisely what's going on. It's one of the reasons to radically control water changes, because water changes take out of the tank elements that are critical to the balance, the stability, and the health of the tank. You never want to take water out of the tank unless you need to. Now, evaporation is a different matter. When you replace evaporation, replace it with the same water you put in to begin with. That does increase mineralization. But you've got a process going on that is acquiring and developing in its ability to manage a deeper, richer, more mineralized culture. So don't be afraid of that. And don't feel like you got to get rid of bad water. There's really no such thing as bad water. There is such a thing as pollution, as bad things in the water. The water itself never goes bad. It's what's in the water that goes bad. If you have a problem with that, deal with that problem, not with the whole thing. Again, don't throw the baby out with the bath. The baby is the water and everything that's in it. The bath water, the dirt in the bath water is one thing that's gone wrong. Figure out what that one thing is and deal with it. And don't just throw your hands up and panic. And while I'm on the subject, don't panic. If something goes wrong, if you see a problem in a tank, don't panic. Don't get in an uproar over it. Don't say, oh my God, what have I done? Go boil a pot of water, make a cup of tea, sit down in front of the tank, and as long as it takes to drink that tea, look at the tank. Now, if you've got fish gasping at the top, you need to get them out and put them in something else. But that's rarely the problem. The problem normally is something has gone wrong that's not an instant urgent matter that you can think about and decide how best to deal with it. Apply patience. Apply gentleness. Be sweet to your tank and it will be sweet to you. Don't panic. In a panic, you do the wrong thing every time. Every single time. You get in a state where, oh my God, I've got to do something, and whatever it is you do makes matters worse. And the best example of this I can give you
It is me with my 10-gallon, right?
is me with my 150-gallon and 25 full-grown Uaru, about $5,000 worth of fish, and the heater that I had, an external thermostat, fell out of the tank and pushed the temperature of the water up to about 95 degrees. So I'm looking at the tank and these fish are just sitting there. They're not moving. I'm thinking, what's wrong? And I finally figured out What was wrong was what I said. The temperature went through the roof. So I panicked. I started throwing ice in the tank, pulling them out, putting them in cooler tanks, killed every one of them. If I had turned the heater off and done nothing else, the temperature would have gradually come down. They would have been fine. Panic is destructive. Don't panic. Take your time, figure out what's going on, and find a simple solution. I love some types of algae in my tanks, says Orange Cones. Well, bless you, Orange Cones. I do too. I'll tell you what I really love in a saltwater tank is all of the macroalgae. They are incredible plants. We're going to be getting some. I noticed there are a lot of them in the bay. So we'll have different types, but we'll have some as well. Yeah,
Have you touched on the fact, because obviously you have a video that's algae as your bestie. Have you talked about that much in this live stream that the whole reason the algae, I've heard it a little bit, but it's a safety mechanism that's there, to protect you from ruining your tank by overfeeding.
Yeah, absolutely. Yes, I did. I can hit that one again because it's really vital. If you have algae, you need to count your blessings because that algae is preventing your tank from crashing. It is absorbing excess nutrients. Getting rid of algae simply perpetuates the problem. It's a perfect example of the wrong solution to the right problem. Did I say that right? Probably the wrong solution to the wrong problem would be closer to it. The problem is excess nutrients. The problem is not algae. Control the excess nutrients and the algae takes care of itself.
Can you talk about how fast that happens when you add plants? If you stop doing the things that were adding the nutrients, like fertilizing or adding too much food, if you have enough plants or you add the plants, how quickly can you expect to see the algae just disappear?
Within days to a week. It doesn't take long. Algae, some algae can persist with no nutrients. They take longer to die. But by and large, if you get control of what's causing the problem, you'll notice a major difference within a week.
Well, that's a good question. So Gene says, drop back too much light. What are your feelings on that?
It doesn't solve the problem. Too much light is not the problem. The problem is too much nutrients. If you cut back the light, then the algae's not going to be able to grow, but the nutrients will become even more of a problem than they are.
Right.
So you're making it worse by cutting back the lights. You're not making it better. The problem is not algae. Algae is never the problem. The problem is why algae is there. If you don't like it, then don't do what's causing it. If you like it, keep doing what's causing it. Silver Creek is saying Ludwigi will survive under any light, but if you pump the light up, it'll grow faster. It's one that's like indeterminate tomatoes. The more light and food it gets, the bigger and faster. Yeah, that's really true. And Ludwigia is a perfect example of that. The other thing that happens with Ludwigia and a lot of other plants is if you have inadequate light, it will drop the lower leaves on the stem and it'll grow toward the light. So you'll have a long stem with nothing on it, and at the top it'll be flush with leaves. It'll be very lush. But that's because, now get this, a plant makes an investment in leaves. It feeds the leaves in order for the leaves to be able to derive the nutrients that the plant needs. If the equation is such that the leaf is not working up to its, if it's not worth the effort that's being pumped into it, the plant's going to drop the leaf. If the plant is not providing more nutrients back to the plant, the leaf, if the leaf is not providing more nutrients back to the plant than it's costing the plant, that leaf will be dropped. That's why you see bare stems, because it's unproductive for that plant to be feeding those leaves and not getting an adequate return. You'll see leaves growing at the top where it's getting an adequate return. The plant is perfectly healthy. There's nothing wrong with the plant. It's just not getting light lower on the stem. Now, with plants like Ledwigia, that is an emergent plant. Growing in the wild, they grow up and out of the water. And the instant they hit the water, they explode with growth. And they drop every single leaf that's in the water on the stem. Every one. Because they're nowhere near as productive as the leaves that are out in the air. Getting more sunlight, getting more air, and so forth. The plant's perfectly healthy. It just doesn't have leaves where you want it. So with plants like that, when they get up to the water level, you need to trim them and stick those trimmings back down in the tank. I have goldfish with E. Janine. Goldfish with ick. Tried 3 treatments. They still have a bit left. Discovered the Matrix Bio Rocks were neutralizing the medicine. Now using copper meds. Any advice, please? Yes, put a heater in the tank. Turn the temperature up to 86, 87. The ick will be gone in 2 days. You can drop the temperature back down. It is that simple. The ick parasite cannot, it becomes dormant at 86 degrees and drops off of the fish into the substrate. In 4 days, lacking a host, it dies. Very simple, very basic, and 100% effective. No chemicals, no nothing. Just increase the temperature, preferably for 3 days. The goldfish will be fine. It's not going to hurt them.
So, it looks like you got an order also from Bernard.
Oh, thank you, Bernard.
So he ordered the plant pack.
Oh, good. Okay, great.
Complete kit with the starter.
Oh, wonderful, wonderful. ABS, feel sorry for my views. Mad is to rescue them all from my electric blue Acara. Revived and now they're the only thing covered in green hair algae. Yeah, I've learned to hate buse. I've got a couple little buse in here. They do absolutely nothing. They just kind of sit there. I've never done well with buse. I don't understand it. I think it's a low pH plant, near as I can tell. And Locadia says, really, 86 is all it takes to get rid of it. Yep, absolutely right. Now, I have been told stories, and they are just stories, but I've been told stories that there are strains of ick that can tolerate higher temperatures. Personally, frankly, I haven't seen it. I've heard about it. I assume it's probably true, but it's likely not in the hobby, not in the industry. Or we would know about it, and it would be a problem. Right now, it's not a problem. Kick your temperature up to 87, it's going to drop off. It'll be gone in 2 days. And ABS says, I feel happy it's not just me. Well, whatever you're referring to, I'm with you. ABS. Right on. Well, let's see. Aquatic moose. My pH is 7.5 everywhere, but in my yard dirted creek sand gravel tank, mid-high 6s. Yeah, you don't have enough buffers in the tank. That's pretty simple. You can fix it. You add buffers. The easiest way to do that, you can put a little sodium bicarbonate in there, but it's not going to keep it up. You need something that has calcium in it. If you use, what are those bird things that they chew on? The bone. What is that called? It's the bone from a squid. Cuttle bone. If you grind up some cuttle bone and put that in the tank, won't hurt a thing. It won't mess the water up. Excuse me. Won't mess the water up. It will add carbonates to the water, and that's the key. You need carbonates in order to buffer the water to be able to hold it at a higher pH. Cuttlebone, right. We have Cuttlebone. ABS, Janice, and Anna. Anna Williams. Let's see. I need to get over here and pass out a few more wrenches. Anna Williams says Cuttlebone. And Tony Robertson spells it Cuddle C-U-D-D, which is cute. Yes, Luke.
Akatosh says, how to get rid of cyanobacteria. Some say low nitrates and low water flow cause cyano. Others say high nitrates.
Yeah, it's high nitrates.
He says, can I remove it manually and add sand over the old
you can. It won't get rid of it. But if you, get more plants in there. More plants. It's the same thing. It's an algae. Cyanobacteria grows the same way as an algae. It's a combination algae bacteria kind of thing. It's a hybrid, I guess. But the way to control it is it's exactly the same issue. Taking it out doesn't solve the problem. You need to get to what's causing it. And what's causing it is the same thing as every other problem. It's excess nutrients. Stop overfeeding your tank. That's what causes it 100% of the time. There is no other possible cause.
Right. That's basically what I told him. He says he doesn't overfeed. He only has, it's a 5.5 gallon, and he has a betta in there and a narrate snail.
You do overfeed. If you're feeding anything at all, it's too much. With one snail and one betta, if you feed more than one brine shrimp twice a week, you're overfeeding. The betta's nutrient requirements are almost zero. And in point of fact, if you've got a little bit of leaf culture in there, you will never need to feed him because he will find microfauna adequate to maintain himself. So whatever food you're putting in there is too much. That's the problem. There is no alternative solution. If you have algae, if you've got this bacteria problem, it's because of excess nutrient. You may think you're not overfeeding, but you are. It's just that you're shocked at how little they really need. And that's the thing that's so hard to get hold of. You think about that fish. How big is its stomach? It's about the size of the head of a pin. How much does it take to cover the head of a pin? If you're putting more than that in there, you've got more food than it can eat. And that's the issue. The snail's not going to take care of it. Snail's got all it can handle dealing with the dying plants, with the algae that's, growing, with the poop from the fish, all of that stuff. Say, give that lady a wrench. Who are we talking about? No, no. Well, I'm afraid I've lost a lot of your comments tonight, guys. I apologize for that. Luke has been trying to help me with it, and I guess he's gotten the critical ones. I feed every other day. Was worried I was underfeeding. I think, Alexandria, the reality is it is impossible to underfeed fish. They can live. You look at how they. Now, it's not true of saltwater fish. Saltwater fish are very different. They have a much higher metabolism. But freshwater fish have a metabolism approaching zero. They can hang suspended in the air and burn 1 calorie an hour. Or maybe a day, I don't know. But they aren't burning up much. So they really don't require much. Does anyone know about neocaridina care? NAFO. I don't. I know very little about neocaridina. Having trouble keeping them alive. Did water change. Started doing top-offs. Drop the pH to 6.5. And then go visit one of the guys who are doing shrimp and talk to him. We've got some quality neocaridina hobbyists on the fish farm.
So you don't want acidic, anything acidic for them. I put some more comments in there kind of explaining.
Oh, no, I'm sorry. It did say Nera. I was thinking caridina. See, that's how little I know about shrimp. No, that's right. Neocaridina. Let me backtrack. Caridina require a low pH. Neocaridina require a high pH.
Right, which is why I told him to add some buffer, some calcium, or some crushed coral somewhere in the tank either.
Yeah, that's right.
They also sell for shrimp. I don't know if anyone's seen them. It's basically the same thing. They sell little shrimp rocks, and it's just it's probably calcium bicarbonate or something, but it's they're just little white rocks that you can set in there, and the shrimp will go over and eat on them. Helps with their exoskeleton, but it doesn't break down very fast or anything. So
yeah, the cuttlebone works too.
Oh yeah, good point.
Okay, we're getting down to it here. NAFO, dirted tank. I thought I
also
did.
As a milestone here, you have 161 people watching the live stream.
167.
Well.
Wow. Wow. That's impressive, guys. Thank you all so much. Please hit the like button. That's important to do at this point. You know, we're trying to get the algorithm to pay attention to us. And so far, we seem to have its attention, but we really need your help. If we're going to keep moving this channel in the direction it needs to go, we need you not just to be here watching, because that's really vital, and not just to hit the like button, but to do one more thing, to go the extra mile. And the extra mile is to share. If you will share this live stream, videos, whatever you can, through your account on other social media, Facebook, Twitter, whatever, that will bring people in who would otherwise never know about FatherFish. It is vital that we have those shares if we're going to really grow. We're doing enormously well. It's just so exciting. It's I've been at this stage a couple of different times. I'm hoping that this time we're going to really strike gold. We've had lightning strike twice in a row. We're looking for number 3. This may be it right here. I mean, these numbers are extraordinary. Never had this many people in a live stream. But if we can get this next video to perform better than the last two, we're going to be on our way. We'll be in just really magnificent shape and be able to actually reach more people with what we're trying to teach. So please be a guide and be a help and be a promoter and do what you can. Be an ambassador for FatherFish. All right, I think we're down to it. 56. What else? Anything else we got to do here? Did we give everybody a wrench? Anna Williams. I think I did, Anna. Didn't I? Oh, no, I didn't. Okay, and Tony.
So don't forget to look through your notifications there under your video that shows.
Rocker 66. Jacob Pritchard has become a member. Thank you, Jacob. A paid membership receives special benefits. The same benefits that are given to our Patreon members. If you're a member on YouTube, you get the same benefits as the Patreon members. Let's see. Cichlids El Nino has subscribed. Welcome, Cichlid. Welcome, Cichlids El Nino. Nice to have you guys with us. Let's see. Ahmed is saying, I don't want to overload my tank. The Corys will be fine. It's 6.5 gallon. 30 liter is 6.5 gallon, not 10. Okay. Yeah, just don't do too many. Do like 2, 3 maybe. If you can get little tiny ones, if you can get the Hibrosis or any of the other pygmy Corys, you can do 3 or 4 of those, even half a dozen. They're tiny. They're really, really tiny. But do it slow, just 2 or 3 at a time. No more than that. And no more than once a week. And we are down to the wire here. Let's see, Wildbagger. Alexandra, I think okay. I've heard don't feed more than the size of the fish's eye. Depends on the size of the fish's eye, I guess. How would you gauge that? I mean, really, think about it.
That's what I was thinking.
Is that the eyeball or just the surface of the eye? I mean, if you're feeding flakes, do you feed just one flake? Or if you're feeding a dry food like a powdered food, do you feed an amount equal to the total eyeball? And how do you know? I think it's an attempt to control, and so it's helpful. My best advice is for a new tank, absolutely do not feed more than once a day, and feed a whole lot less than you think you should. And then gauge it. Be careful with it. Food is a poison. It really is. You're putting dead material in that tank that fouls and pollutes. It begins to rot almost instantly.
If this is a good way to think of it. If you couldn't poop in a toilet or go somewhere else and you had to poop in your house.
Yeah, well, right. There is that, right. What, you would be judicious, would you not? Could I add another angel in my 75 community? Current angel is full grown. Yeah, they might fight. The best thing with angels is to bring them in when they're young, 3 or 5 at a time. If you put another angel in with one you've already got, they probably are going to fight. Or they'll spawn. It'll be one or the other. It's difficult to do that because they just become a dominant fish. So you want to, when you add angels, you want to add them in small groups. They do so much better, and it's a lot more fun too. Eggshells. Eggshells are great, absolutely. Crushed eggshell is perfect. It's pure calcium. It's absolutely ideal. Don't drop the pH for Neos. Yes, I'm sorry. I misspoke. You're absolutely right. Don't drop the pH for Neocaridina. I think I must be getting tired or something. We're at 8 o'clock. We're at 159 viewers. I could go on like this forever. Let's see. Janine Wiggins. I wish I knew the mud technique when I set up my tank. I'll use your method in the future. FatherFish, you rock. You make me want to move back to my home state, California. Has nothing on Florida. I lived in Florida for 32 years. I just got too old and too weak to handle it anymore. And I wanted to be back with family, and I kind of got burned out on Florida. So after 32 years, I'm back, and I'm more energized about the flora and fauna here than I was when I left. So it's all good. Plus, there are a lot more fish hobbyists in this area than there are in Florida. There are a lot in Florida, but nothing like what's in the New York, New Jersey, Pennsylvania, Delaware, Maryland, Virginia corridor. It's just astounding.
There's a couple good questions here. We've got Janine Wiggins asked, for an FX6, I have no idea what that is, do you recommend any other product besides activated charcoal for keeping the water clear? I'm assuming that's a filter, right?
Yeah, I do, and it's not using charcoal. It's not overfeeding your fish and having a deep substrate. This water right here in this tank does not have a filter in it. It's not had a filter in it in a very long time. It's not cloudy, it's not dirty, it's not problematic at all. Put a little sponge filter in there if you've got some turbidity. Add a sponge filter. If the problem with the charcoal, there are two problems. Number one, it takes out things that you don't want it to take out. Number two, it only does it up to a point, and then it dumps them back in the water. So you're not getting ahead with it. It's like a sponge. Once it's full, it can't take any more. And with charcoal, once it's full, it vomits. And whatever it's taken in, it just vomits it back out again. So you don't get ahead with charcoal. If you have it in there more than 2 days, you're wasting your money and time with it, because it'll fill up that quick. In some cases, an hour. If it's a low grade charcoal, which means it's been created in a low heat, it can only absorb so much, and in an hour or two, it will have already absorbed all it can handle. A very high grade charcoal is burned at a much higher temperature, and it'll absorb more. But again, once it fills up, it's done. It can't take in more than that. So you have to either get it out of there or run the risk of it dumping everything right back out in the water. It's the only real good reason to use charcoal is if you put some kind of chemical in the tank that needs to come out, and it'll do a pretty good job of that. Put it in there for 2 days and then take it out.
So Josh Michaels asked, it's a new setup and got white fuzzy stuff growing on silicone. Should I be worried?
Wonderful. White fuzzy stuff is food. Snails love it, fish love it, everybody loves it. It's fungus. And fungus is a primary food for macrofauna, even for little fish. It'll go away. It will clear up. It'll be eaten and it'll go away. It's part of the process. It's just part of the natural process. It's nothing to worry about, nothing to be concerned about. It's fine. It's perfectly normal. What is this? Charcoal adsorbs instead of absorbs. That's interesting. Orange cones, adsorb. Huh. That's a distinction I'm not aware of. I need to look up adsorbs. I've never encountered that word before. I will look. I like that. I'll check it out. Appreciate it. And Nafo says, always nice to speak to you guys today. Gonna prepare some eggshells for my shrimp. Sounds great. Ahmad, do you think guppies with do you think guppies with colorful tails can live with betta? Some people say in a group the guppies will be safe. Others says the betta will attack it. The betta is a much slower swimmer, and it really doesn't attack it. Yeah, I would say it would not be a problem, generally speaking. Now, guppies with very long finnage, male guppies with long finnage. This came up in a chat the other day, and I made a comment that I was a little apprehensive about making. Not that it was wrong, but that I knew there were some people who were going to get upset about it. But I'm going to say it again, just to draw the ire of the uninformed. Guppy breeders, who are some of the most sophisticated breeders of fish in the hobby. Guppy breeders maintain record systems. They have secrets and devices. They have systems and habits and procedures that would just blow your mind. One of them is when they get a guppy that has an utterly magnificent tail, so big the fish has trouble swimming. What do you suppose they do? Anybody? Anybody? I'm going to tell you what they do. They get out their scissors and they cut it. Why do they do that? Because that's the fish they want to breed. And with that big tail, it can't get around enough to breed. So they reduce the size of the tail in order to be able to get more progeny from that fantastic male. Obviously, they don't sell that one, but boy, did they get a lot of sons from it who are equally magnificent. Just a little tidbit there. So the fish can swim, yeah, kind of, so it can breed, so it can spawn. All right. Love you all. I'm going to go now. We're done. Appreciate it. Be on the lookout for our next video that'll be out probably Wednesday evening, might be Tuesday. I think it'll probably be Wednesday. It's going to be remarkable. It will be. It is an interview with Laura, our resident biologist. We had her on a video last Christmas, and it went viral. It was just amazing. She's brilliant. She's succinct, and we've discovered some things in this conversation that are going to blow minds. I mean, it's really going to be an amazing video. I encourage you, I welcome you to check it out when it comes out. Be sure to go to father.fish. Check out our store. We got some great deals on plants. Get over and visit Discord. And be in love with your fish. Bless you all. Love you all. Bye for now.